But I was still possessed enough by my future concerns to be involuntarily pulled back into intense preoccupation with getting the next thing done. I knew perfectly well I was missing out on beauty and meaning and engagement, regardless of whatever advantages and efficiency my impatience bought. I was narrow, sharp, and focused, and did not waste time. But the price I paid for that was the blindness demanded by efficiency, accomplishment, and order. I was no longer seeing the world. This is an excerpt from Rule 8. Try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible. It's from a subsection entitled Memory and Vision. The pride of the peacock is the glory of God. The lust of the goat is the bounty of God. The wrath of the lion is the wisdom of God. The nakedness of woman is the work of God. Excessive sorrow laughs, excessive joy weeps. The roaring of lions, the howling of wolves, the raging of the stormy sea, and the destructive sword are portions of eternity, too great for the eye of man. William Blake, from Proverbs of Hell, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. When I was a child, I knew the contours and details of all the houses in my immediate neighborhood. I knew the back alleys, the places behind the fences, the location of each crack in the pavement, and the shortcuts that could be taken from one place to another. My geographical locale was not large, but I had explored it thoroughly and my knowledge of it was very detailed. Now that I am an adult, the same is not true. I lived in Fairview, the town I grew up in for most of my childhood and adolescence, for only 9 years. But I am still able to picture in high resolution the street I lived on. I have lived in Toronto on the same street for more than twice that long, but I still have only a vague sense of the houses that surround me. I do not think that is a good thing. I feel far less at home because of it. It is as if when I walk down the street and glance at a local house, I think house as an icon, because really, what practical difference does it make to me what particularities characterize each house? And then my attention is turned to something else. I do not see the house with its specific shingles, colors, flowers, and architectural details, despite the interest that might have been elicited in me had I paid careful attention. By this point in my life, I have seen so many houses in so many places that I know what a house is likely to do when I walk by, which is very little. Thus, I ignore the engaging idiosyncrasies and beauties of its details, its unique character for better or worse, and see just enough to stay oriented as I walk past and continue to think and be elsewhere as I do so. There is real loss in that. I am simply not there in my adult neighborhood, the same way I was as a child in my hometown. I am separated from the reality of the world, and a very deep sense of belonging is missing in some important way. Because of that, perception has been replaced for me with functional, pragmatic memory. This has made me more efficient in some ways, but the cost is an impoverished experience of the richness of the world. I remember when I started working as a junior professor in Boston, when my kids were about 2 and 3 years old. I was very preoccupied with my work, trying to keep up, trying to advance my career, trying to make enough money to support my family on a single income. I would come home and take a walk with Tammy and our children, Michaela and Julian. I found it very difficult to remain patient with them. I had too much work to do, always, or believed I did, and had disciplined myself through years of effort to focus continually on that. If we went for a walk, I wanted to know exactly where we were going, just how long it would take to get there, and precisely when we were going to get back. This is no attitude to adopt when trying to have a pleasant and reasonable time with toddlers. Not if you want to immerse yourself in the experience. Not if you want to watch and participate in the pleasure they take in their timeless discovery. Not unless you want to risk missing something of crucial import. It was very difficult for me to relax and focus on the present and watch my little kids pursue their meandering route through the neighborhood with no particular destination, purpose, or schedule in mind, engaging themselves deeply in an encounter with a local dog, bug, or earthworm, or in some game they invented on the way. Now and then, however, I could snap briefly into that same frame of reference. That is one of the wonderful gifts provided by young children, and see the pristine world they inhabited, still untrammeled by practiced and effective memory, capable of producing pure joy in the newness of everything. But I was still possessed enough by my future concerns to be involuntarily pulled back into intense preoccupation with getting the next thing done. I knew perfectly well I was missing out on beauty and meaning and engagement, regardless of whatever advantages and efficiency my impatience bought. I was narrow, sharp, and focused, and did not waste time. But the price I paid for that was the blindness demanded by efficiency, accomplishment, and order. I was no longer seeing the world. I was only seeing the little I needed to navigate it with maximum speed and lowest cost. None of that was surprising. I had the responsibilities of an adult. I had a demanding job. I had to take care of my family, and that meant sacrificing the present and attending to the future. But having little children around and noticing their intense preoccupation with the present and their fascination with what was directly around them made me very conscious of the loss that accompanied maturity. Great poets are expressly aware of this, and they do what they can to remind the rest of us. There was a time when meadow, grove, and stream, the earth, and every common sight to me did seem apparelled in celestial light, the glory and the freshness of a dream. It is not now as it hath been of yore. Turn wheresoever I may, by night or day. The things which I have seen, I now can see no more. Ye blessed creatures, I have heard the call ye to each other make. I see the heavens laugh with you in your jubilee. My heart is at your festival. My head hath its coronal. The fullness of your bliss I feel it all. Oh, evil day, if I were sullen while earth herself is adorning this sweet May morning, and the children are culling on every side, in 1,000 valleys far and wide, fresh flowers, while the sun shines warm, and the babe leaps up on his mother's arm. I hear, with joy I hear, but there's a tree of many, one, a single field which I have looked upon. Both of them speak of something that is gone. The pansy at my feet doth the same tale repeat. Whither is fled the visionary gleam? Where is it now? The glory and the dream. William Wordsworth, Ode, Intimations of Immortality, from Recollections of Early Childhood.